Hey loves, welcome back to my channel. Now the other day this just popped in my head. I don't know, I kind of completely forgot about this whole thing that happened and it just popped in my head and I was like, this would kind of be a good story time since school's kind of like starting up, or it may have already started for some of you. I actually don't go back to school until the 27th, which is kind of late for some people, but that's just when my school starts. So we are going to be talking about the time that I almost failed one of my college courses, and I felt like everybody was going against me trying to get me to fail this class. I felt like my professor, the TA, the dean of students, or it's not the dean, but like the dean of our department, if that makes sense. I don't know. But I felt like everybody was going against me, and I just felt like I could not win. It was actually a very scary and stressful time for me. And I remember it pretty vividly, so I just kind of wanted to talk about it just because I feel like now looking back at it, I can laugh about it and be like, yes, like, you know what I mean? But during that time, it was very, very stressful. That whole semester was stressful for me. So let's just go ahead and get into it. Really quick though, if you do like these kind of story time videos, I will try to do more of them. I don't know, I just kind of like think about it and I'm like, what would even be interesting to talk about? Like, I don't feel like I have like a bunch of stuff that happens all the time that's like, oh my god, story time, you know what I mean? But there's a couple things that have happened in my life that I feel like are either pretty funny or just kind of like, whoa, that I think is worth a story time. But if you like these type of videos, give this video a thumbs up. That way I know, and I can definitely try to film more of those for you guys. But yeah, let's just go ahead and jump right into this story. Okay, so this actually happened last year. I don't remember if it was like fall or spring semester. I want to say it was fall. I don't know. I don't know. But I was taking an art history course. I am an art major, and so in my major I think there's like 5 art history courses that you have to take, and those classes are mandatory in order to graduate. Now with these classes, they're not my favorite. Like, they're really not. In the beginning, like the first 2 maybe, I was like, oh okay, I kind of like these. Like, I'm not really like a history person, but art history can be kind of interesting. So yeah, like the first couple art history courses I was like interested and I was like, okay, cool, like this doesn't seem too bad. But like the more you get into it, I don't know, everybody's different, and some people that I've met or even had like in those classes were like, oh, I love this class, like these classes are amazing, like they're so interesting, like da da da. And I was just kind of like, I guess, like, alright. Like, you know, like the more I got into the art history courses, the more boring they got to me, kind of. Some parts, you know, here and there would be interesting, but overall, the whole course, I was kind of just like, okay, like just trying to get this done to get my credits, you know, so I can graduate. But I was taking my second to last course of all the art history courses. So I only had that class and 1 more to go, and I was done with all of my art history classes. I finished this past semester. And I was like, yes. But so the class that I was in, it was actually a pretty good class. I don't remember like the exact name of the course, but it was like a modern art history course, I think. So I don't really remember, but our professor, she was really nice. I liked her. But she was just kind of like really stern, I guess, or you know what I mean? Like by the syllabus. Like, she made no gaps. She made no exceptions. It was just kind of like, you know, everything that's in the syllabus is how it's gonna go, and she stuck to it, and that was kind of it. We never really had like a real like fluid system in her class. It was just like structure, like, you know what I mean? And I kind of liked that because I was like, okay, so I know like what's to come. It's not gonna be like a surprise or whatever. You read the syllabus, you know what you're gonna talk about next week or the next class or whatever. So it was kind of an easy class to keep up with as long as you stayed on top of it. And that's what I did. So I was just like, okay, like I already know these classes are kind of like a bore to me. Like, I don't know, I'm the art major that likes to work with my hands. I like building stuff, I like creating stuff, I like drawing, I like filming, I like doing a bunch of stuff like that. Not so much just sitting in a lecture room hearing somebody talk to me about art. Like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, I don't want to, I don't know, they're boring. But I knew since I find these classes kind of boring, I kind of have to step my game up and like really pay attention or really like be involved to stick to it and to like keep up with the course and pass my exams and all that other stuff. So that's what I did. You know, the whole entire semester I was like, okay, like the class wasn't like super hard. The exams were a little intense, but it wasn't anything that was like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to like study for a whole week for this. Like, you know what I mean? I was kind of just like, okay, like taking my notes, reading my notes throughout the weeks, and kind of just like going about it. All my exams and everything, I passed like no lower than like a high C. Everything was like a high C and above. So I was like, okay, like, you know, I'm passing all the exams, I'm passing the quizzes, all of like the assignments and stuff. Everything is great. Now let me backtrack a little bit. So like I said, our professor for that class was very stern. So like anything that was in the syllabus was to the T, and that was it. Like there's no changing it, you know what I mean? Like she had it that way and that's it. And I'm pretty sure for most of you who are in college and, you know, have syllabus week, the first week of classes and stuff like that, it's usually very easy. It's like a blow-off week. You know, you go to your class, you pretty much just read the syllabus with a professor. They tell you what they expect from you, stuff like that, and then that's pretty much it. You don't really have like assignments or homework or anything like that. So she's like reading the syllabus to us and everything, and then she gets to the portion of attendance, and she's like, okay guys, here's the attendance part. This is where everybody kind of gets a little like, you know, whatever. And so I'm just like, okay, like I've heard this a million times, like, okay. So my school actually has like a policy. I think it's like a 3-day attendance policy. Like you get 3 free days. So let's say you get sick, you end up in the hospital, you get in a car accident, a family death, or, you know, a family tragedy, anything like that. You have 3 days free, like excused absences. And that's just kind of like their policy for every class. So for our professor in this class, I don't think she actually followed the school's policy. I think she followed her own, which was 2 absences. I want to say it was 2 absences because I remember I only had like 1 or 2 more than I needed. And so she was like, okay, so our attendance policy is you get 2 freebies, you get 2 free unexcused absences. You can use them whenever you want. But after that, that's when you start getting penalized. That's 1 letter grade for every day that you miss after the 2 free days. So if you miss 3 days, then if you have an A in the class, it automatically drops down to a B. And if you miss 4 days, that automatically drops down to a C, and so on, until you eventually fail the course because you missed more than 5 days. So that was the policy. And I was already kind of like, dang, like, that sucks, because if I miss 3 days, then, you know, I'm going to drop down to a B even if I had an A, but whatever, at least I'm passing, you know what I mean? Well, this is where everything kind of goes left. I don't really remember why I missed the days that I missed, but I did. Now, I don't know, maybe because it was cold outside or, you know, whatever. Some days I just have those days where I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to class today. Like, I don't know, I don't feel good. My stomach hurts, like I'm on my period, or I don't know, whatever. Like, I'm not going to go to class. So I've had a couple of those days, yes. And I think I missed 4 days in that class, which is kind of bad because, again, if you miss more than 2, every day after that, you're going to get penalized. And so even though I missed those days, I was very good at being responsible enough to get the notes that I missed. And that is another thing that they mention every single time in the syllabus for every single class that I've ever had at my school. They always say, even if you miss a day in class, it is your responsibility as the student to get that information that you missed, whether that be notes, whether that be exam reviews, whether that be assignments passed out, whatever it is your job to get that work, complete it, and turn it in if it needs to be turned in, or get the notes from a friend, or go to talk to your professor in office hours or something like that to make sure that you get everything that you missed in the class that you were absent. And that's what I did. Even though I was absent for 4 days, each day that I was absent, I always got notes from the people in my classes next to me. Like, I'm always usually kind of cool with the people that sit next to me because I'm like, hey, like, what's up? Like, because I know there's going to be days that I'm going to miss. And I'm going to need somebody to be there so I can be like, hey, like, can I borrow your notes? You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't here yesterday or whatever. And usually everybody's like, yeah, sure, like, whatever. And people ask me too, like, hey, do you mind if I borrow your notes or if I take a picture of your notes? And I'll be like, yeah, sure, like whatever. So that's what I did every time. Any day that I was absent or I knew I was going to be absent, I would be like, hey, so I'm going to be out next week. Like, are you going to be here? So that way, like, I can just take a picture of your notes when I get back or whatever. And they would be like, yeah, sure. And so I always had notes, and the people next to me were always bomb at taking notes. So I was like, cool, like I kept up and I knew what I missed. Same for assignments. I never really missed days that like were big days. So like if we had an exam review or if we had an assignment to turn in and I knew that was coming up, I usually would make sure that I go to class because I don't want to miss that, or you know what I mean? That's like extra work. I never really like going to office hours, so I was like, nah. So I always got my notes, and every single time that I was absent and I got the notes from like the person next to me or whatever, I would write the date because I knew that was the date that I was absent and that was the date of the notes. So like obviously if we have an exam the next class, I know that goes with these notes to study for this exam. So I knew in my head that I had like 4 absences in that class, but for some reason I was just like, I'm good, because I think I was following my school's policy on attendance, thinking that we have 3 free days. So like I was like, okay, I missed 4 days, but we have 3 free ones, so I only have 1 day. So if at the end of the class I just drop a letter grade, it's not that big of a deal, because I was passing the class anyways. So I was like, I had like a high B in the class, and so I was just kind of like, okay, like I'm passing. If anything, it'll get knocked down to a high C, whatever, not a big deal. But I was like, I'll take care of it, you know, at the end of the semester. And so I never really checked my attendance. I don't know, I just thought I was good. So I was just like, okay, like whatever, not really checking my attendance. But the end of the semester comes around, and everybody's like worried about finals, worried about exams, like, you know what I mean? So it's kind of stressful. And again, last thing on my mind was attendance. And I remember it was like the last day of the class, or like the last 2 days of class or something. She was like, guys, remember to check your attendance, because if you have more than 2 absences, then you're going to be penalized for that for every day that you're absent, da, 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 da. And so I was like, wait, every 2 days? And in my head, I'm thinking, I thought it was 3. Like, I don't know why I completely forgot in the beginning of the semester that she said 2. I'm thinking it's 3. And so I was like, so I go and I check my attendance and it says 4 absences. So I was like, that's not good. But I remember the next day she put in all the grades so you could see what your grade is in the class, and then she was going to count in for attendance. And so I seen my grades and I had a high B. It was like an 87, 88, I think. So I was like, I am a good, like I have a good grade in this class. But with my attendance, I don't know how, or like I said, I thought it was going to drop down to a D, but it ended up dropping down to an F. Like an F. Like, I seen that in the grade book and I was like, what? I was so shook. Like I seen an F and I was like, oh my god. And so I emailed the TA, obviously, because I was like, hey, like I just had a B in the class, so I'm kind of confused as to why I have an F. She was like,
oh, it's because of your attendance, like you actually missed 5 days.
And, and I was like, I know I only missed 4, first of all, even though I know that's more than 2, but I didn't miss 5.
She was like, yeah, well, your attendance is actually saying that you missed 5 days, so like if you can prove that you were in class that day, then I can like change it, but if not, then that's just what it's gonna have to be.
So this is where I kind of got smart. Now I'm not saying you should do this, and I'm not recommending you to do this, but like I said earlier, I always got my notes for the days that I was absent, and I would date them. So I was like, I was there in class, like I have my notes, and she was like, okay, well let me talk to your professor and see like what she has to say, da 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 da, and I'll email you back. And so I'm like, okay, like perfect. And so she emails me back and she was like,
yeah, so I'm sorry, but there's not really anything we can do. She said it's policy and it's in the syllabus that it says if you miss more than 2 days, then there's nothing we can do, and that's your final grade.
And I just remember as soon as I read that email, bawling, like just tears, like just bawling. And I was like, so you're telling me I have a high B in the class, but because I missed more than 2 days, it's dropping down to an F? I'm gonna fail the class because I missed too many days. Like, you guys, when I tell you I was furious, I was so mad. I honestly don't think I've ever been so mad in my life. I could feel like my blood boiling up to my head, and my head was like about to explode because I was so livid. Like I was just like, are you kidding me? I remember Joseph was there with me. I was like yelling at home and I was like going off because I was like, they tell us that if you're absent, it's your responsibility to get the work and da da da. And I was responsible enough to do that. And at the time too, during the semester, I worked 2 jobs. I had 2 jobs and I was going to school full time and I was always making sure I was on top of my work. And so for them to like snatch that B from me was like, I don't know, it really just like took everything from me because that semester was so stressful for me, and working 2 jobs is not easy. You know, everybody who works knows that. And so I was just like, oh my god. I was like, I busted my butt this whole semester to pass all my classes and to work 2 jobs, and y'all are just gonna take that from me. Like, I worked for this. Like, I worked hard, and you're just gonna take my grade because it's policy. Like, it's that easy for you to just take that from me, you know what I mean? I didn't know what to do. And so I called and made an appointment to talk to, I guess he's like the dean of the Fine Arts and Communication department. I don't really know. He's not like the dean of our school, like our whole university, but he is like the head of the Fine Arts and Communications department. And so I went to him and I was talking to him and I was like, look, I did everything I could to pass this course. You know, I missed days, but I have the notes for it and da 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 da. And I was responsible enough to get my work done, but they're taking that away from me and they're just going to give me an F because I missed more than 2 days. And he was this really old white dude, and he just looked at me and was like,
yeah, I'm sorry, but my hands are tied.
Like, straight up. Like, he didn't care at all. He was just like, I don't know what to tell you. And I felt so disrespected, and I was just like, are you kidding me? Like, you are the head of this entire department. What do you mean your hands are tied? Like, I'm so confused because I'm coming to you as a student. Like, I don't know what to do. I earned my B, and now it's gone. Like, they're just going to take that from me. And not only am I just getting an F, but that's going to affect my GPA. That means I'm going to have to retake that class again and pay for that with my own money again. Like, no, it's not just, there's nothing I can do, my hands are tied. Like, that's all you have to say to me? And he literally was just looking me dead in my eye and was like,
you're gonna have to take that up with your professor because, you know, it's her course, and at the end of the day, it's her decision on what she wants to do.
And I was like, she's made her decision, and I don't like her decision, so that's why I'm coming to you, for you to step in. Like, what do you know what I mean? So I literally had tears. Like, I was trying so hard not to cry in his office. I don't know why, I just don't like crying in front of other people, and I was like, I'm not about to cry in front of you, but I was so mad because I felt like he didn't care, or was just like, it's not my problem, you shouldn't have missed those days. And I was just like, and so I literally, like, my eyes got watery and I had a few tears fall down. He was like,
I don't mean to be insensitive, but...
And I just got up and left. Like, I literally got my backpack, stood up, walked out of his office, didn't say a word, didn't shake his hand, nothing. I just left, and I was just like, so, like, ugh. I don't even know how to explain how I felt because I was so upset. Like, I went home crying. I was crying on the bus home, got home. I was so mad. Like, it wasn't even the fact that I was just, like, sad anymore or, like, frustrated. I was mad, like, pissed off, like, furious. And I was just like, oh my god. Like, I didn't know what to do. In my apartment, we kind of had like a loft style apartment, and so upstairs was our bedroom, and you could kind of like see over into the living room and to the rest of the apartment. And we had a TV up there, and I was literally like looking at the TV about to just like chunk it over the railing because I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, I was so like mad, and I just remember stopping and breathing, and I was like, I'm so mad. All I can do right now is pray. I couldn't control my anger. Like, I couldn't control my feelings. I had no control over myself. And I was just like, I have to stop, I have to breathe, and I have to pray. And so I just started talking to God, and I was like, Lord, like, please help me get through this because I can't do it on my own. Like, I can't do this on my own. I was so upset. And after I prayed, it literally just, like, melted. Like, everything just, like, went away. And I wasn't really upset anymore. Like, it's so hard to explain because I don't, like, the power of God is just, the power of God is so real. And I just, anytime you are struggling, pray about it, because I swear prayer has so much strength and so much power. It's unbelievable. But I stopped and I prayed, and I just like literally closed my eyes, and I was like, Lord, like, help me take this off my shoulders. Like, it's in your hands. Like, I literally was like, I can't do it. Here, like, take it. It's in your hands. And whatever happens it's your will, you know, and I just have to go with it. You know, if I'm meant to get this F, I'm meant to get this F. Like, whatever. But I felt like I didn't deserve that, and I didn't earn that. And so after I prayed, it literally just like melted away. And I wasn't upset. I wasn't mad anymore. I just felt like numb, kind of. I was just kind of like, okay, that's it. Like, it's done, you know? And so I like sat on my bed and I got on my phone and I was just like scrolling through Twitter. And I kid you not, 2 seconds after I prayed and literally just cried it all out and sat on my bed and I opened Twitter, I saw a tweet from Joel Osteen. I've never followed Joel Osteen on Twitter or like Instagram or anything like that. But somebody like retweeted it or something, and it literally just popped up on my timeline. And I don't remember exactly what it said. I wish I had a screenshot of it, but I don't, and I can't find it. But it pretty much said not to worry, because no matter what you're going through in that moment, and no matter how hard it may seem like everything is going against you, God will always make things work out in your favor in the end. And I read that, and it literally made me feel 10 times better, because I felt like that tweet was speaking directly to me and my situation. Like, I felt like everybody was going against me. My professor didn't care. She was so strict with her policy and her syllabus that she was like, I don't care if you had a B, you failed. And the TA wasn't any help. And then I went to go talk to the head of our whole freaking department, and he didn't care. Like, he could give 2 Fs, and he was just like, nothing I can do. Your problem, you know? And so I felt like nobody was trying to help me. Nobody was hearing me out. They were just like looking at it as, oh, well, you shouldn't have missed all those days. Da, da, da. And I was like, but after I read that, it made me feel so much better, you guys. Like, I was just kind of like, wow, like, God, you're speaking to me right now. And I literally just let it go. I was like, all right, whatever. Like, it'll work out in my favor in the end, you know? And the next day, like literally the day after I prayed and I saw that tweet and I was told no by the head of our department, I got an email from the TA. And she emailed me and was like,
hey, so I reviewed your whole situation, like your grade in the class and your absences and stuff.
And before this, I sent her screenshots of my notes and all that stuff too, so she like took account of that. And she was like,
and it turned out that we had a random attendance sheet passed around for you to just sign saying that you were here on one of the days that you were absent. And I guess you maybe just missed that paper and it didn't get around to you. So we're going to go ahead and give you that day and count you here, because maybe you just didn't sign your name on the paper.
And so I was like, okay, like, sure. But I kept reading, and she like had under the email, she was like,
we decided that with your grade being so high in the class, having a high B, we're going to go ahead and give you credit for attendance and give you your grade, give you your B.
And when I read that email, I cried. Like, I instantly cried. And I wasn't upset anymore. Like, I cried because I was like, that's God. Like, that's God, straight up. Because the day before, literally one day before, I was furious. Like, I could literally throw a TV over my balcony. That's what I was going to do, because I was just like, I lost it. I wanted to punch holes in the wall. I wanted to freaking like just rip my hair out because I was so mad. And then the very next day, I was blessed with the grade that I earned. And I was just like, thank you, Lord. Like, thank you, God, because there's no way that I could have done that on my own. Like, I tried. I went and talked to my professor. I talked to the TA. I talked to the main guy of our whole department, and everybody told me no. Everybody told me no to my face, and was just like, nope, 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 you're going to get an F, you're going to fail. And the next day, I got an email saying that I got my B. And so I was just like, man, it, like, having those signs, like just praying right after I was so upset and feeling all of it go away, like all my anger, all my frustration literally just like just washed off my body. And then seeing that tweet and knowing that that was God speaking to me, telling me, don't even worry about it, like, I got it, don't worry about it. And he literally took that weight off of my shoulders and gave me my B and blessed me with that. And I was just like, I remember calling my mom crying, and I was like, Mom, like, oh my God, I got my B. And like this, even before I called my mom when they kept telling me no, and I was like, Mom, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm gonna get an F, I'm gonna fail. And she was just like, well, Mija, like, I don't know, like, just try to do this, try to do that, don't worry, like, da, da, da. And then I called her telling her that I got my B, and she was just like, oh my God, like, she was so happy. And I was just so happy, and it was just such an amazing turn to such a dark and stressful moment that I thought was going to be permanent. And I thought I was going to have to retake that class again. I was going to have to pay for it again. And I really don't like the art history classes, so I was like, I'm going to have to sit through this boring class again. And I now don't have to do that because I got my grade and I passed. And obviously I don't have to retake the course. So I don't know, I just wanted to share that with you guys because it honestly felt like I was just stripped of so much, but yet just blessed with it right back, you know what I mean? And I don't know, I'm hoping that you guys have good luck this semester or this year or whatever you're going into, whether it be school, whether it be work, whether it be graduate school, undergrad, high school, whatever it is. I pray that you are blessed and that you get straight A's. If not straight A's, you just get passing grades. A, C's get degrees, you know what I mean? But I just really hope that you guys have a great school year. And I wanted to share this story to just kind of just give the blessings through the screen to you because honestly, like, it made me feel so good to know that I earned my grade and that it came to me, and you truly get what you deserve and you get what you work hard for. And so definitely work hard this school year and try your best to be on top of everything, and it will all pay off in the end. But I hope you guys enjoyed this story time. I know it was kind of long. I hope this video isn't too long, but it was just a really stressful moment for me that ended up turning into such a beautiful blessing. And I was so thankful for it, and I was just like, I'm never going to miss a class again, even though I have, but whatever. But yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful school year, wonderful job. I'm praying that you all have so many blessings coming your way this year, this school year, whatever it may be that you have coming in the future. I pray that you are blessed abundantly, and you have no idea the types of blessings that you have coming in your future. If you only knew the amount of blessings that God had waiting for you, you would never worry and you would never stress. That's just something I wanted to share with you guys as a reminder to just let it go. Whatever you're going through right now, it's not that big of a deal. I know it seems hard right now, but next week, next month, next year, whatever, it's going to get better, I promise you. And you will be blessed so much more than you even know. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and thank you guys so much for watching. I love you, God bless you, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!